Hey, welcome to The Explainer. Today, we're going to uncover a hidden glitch in your brain, a mental shortcut that is secretly pulling the strings on what you believe, what you like, and maybe even how you see yourself.
Okay, let's just jump right in with a little question. I want you to look at these two sentences. Now, they mean the exact same thing, but as you read them, just check in with your gut. Which one feels more true, more correct?
So, if you're like most of us, that first one, woes unite foes, probably just felt a bit more right, didn't it? Well, if you felt that little tug, congratulations. You've just stumbled upon a really powerful psychological quirk that we're going to break down today. So, what is going on there? I mean, why would a simple rhyme make something seem more believable? Well, it all comes down to this super interesting idea from cognitive science called processing fluency. And really, at its heart, processing fluency is, well, it's pretty much what it sounds like. It's that feeling you get when information is either super easy to digest or when it's kind of clunky and hard to get through. That smooth, effortless feeling versus a real mental workout. Okay, and this is where it gets really fascinating. Our brain makes this huge leap. It takes that feeling of ease and uses it as a mental shortcut. So when something is easy to process, when it's fluent, our brain basically goes, oh, this is easy, so it must be true, or familiar, or even safe. It's a huge and often incorrect assumption. Now, this feeling of fluency isn't just one thing. Nope. Researchers actually talk about these different tribes of fluency. You've got perceptual fluency. That's why a clean, simple font just feels more trustworthy than a messy one. Then there's linguistic fluency, which is exactly what we just experienced with that rhyming phrase. And there's more, like how easily you can remember something or how quickly you can wrap your head around a new idea. But why? Why does our brain even have this shortcut? To get that, we need to take a step back and look at the bigger picture, how our brain actually sees the world. And trust me, it's not at all what you'd expect. Most of us kind of think our brain is like a video camera, right? Just passively recording everything. But that's not it at all. The reality is, your brain is an active player in this game. It's constantly organizing, interpreting, and honestly, even changing the information it gets from the world. And how does it do that? Well, it uses a bunch of built-in rules, like these things called Gestalt principles. Your brain just does this stuff. It automatically groups things together, connects the dots, and fills in the gaps to make a complete picture. And the wild part is, this all happens in a split second, totally behind the scenes. And get this organizing job isn't just some high-level brain function. It starts the instant light hits your eyes. I mean, literally, the cells in your retina are already working, talking to each other to pump up the contrast, to make edges sharper. Your senses are basically pre-processing the data to make it easier for the rest of your brain to handle. Okay, so let's follow that process. Let's see how our brain builds our entire reality from the ground up, piece by piece. So when you look at something simple, like a square, your brain doesn't just see a square. It actually builds it. It starts with the absolute basics, detecting the individual lines and angles. Then, those signals trigger other neurons that recognize corners. And only after all that assembly do you finally perceive the whole shape. It's a total construction project, from the bottom up. And this whole journey is this incredibly complex, layered process. It goes from raw light hitting your eye to a basic 2D sketch of lines and edges. Then your brain adds depth, uses those organizing rules we talked about to sort it all into a 3D model. And then, finally, you recognize what you're actually looking at. So here's the really crucial takeaway from all this. Perception is a two-way street. You've got the bottom-up process, which is all the raw data coming in from your senses, but you've also got the top-down process, which is everything you already know, believe, and expect to see. So what you actually perceive is a mashup of what's really out there and what your brain thinks should be out there. And that brings us right back to where we started, back to fluency, because understanding this whole construction process explains why this stuff matters so much in our everyday lives, in the judgments and decisions we make every single day. There was this fantastic study that just nails this point. Researchers split people into two groups. They asked Group A to list 6 times they were assertive. Pretty easy, right? Then they asked Group B to list 12 times, which is way harder. And the results were wild. The people who had an easy time coming up with just a few examples actually rated themselves as being more assertive. The feeling of ease completely trumped the actual evidence. So,
Our brain is basically a little storyteller. It feels that ease of processing, and it has to come up with a reason for it. So it creates these little naive theories like, well, that felt easy, so it must be true. Or that was easy to remember, so it must be important. It's a quick and dirty shortcut that, yeah, works a lot of the time, but it can also be seriously misleading.
So here's the challenge for you. The next time something just clicks, an idea, an ad, a headline, and it feels instantly, obviously right, I want you to just stop for a second and ask yourself, is this actually true? Or does it just feel true because my brain found it so darn easy to process? The answer just might change your mind.